This is one of those weird weeks in Watch This Instead where we really liked all the movies that come out this week, which is maybe a positive sign for the arrival of spring and then into summertime where they keep all of the fun to watch movies. It also means we get to pick which movie we want to talk about, because there's not a really awful movie out this week, which is really weird, especially considering it's the week that Olympus Has Fallen has come out. And I want to talk about a movie called Admission, which is, right off the bat, fantastic. It's a romantic comedy starring Tina Fey and Paul Rudd. It's kind of being missold as kind of being much goofier and much more in line with the kind of wacky comedy that Paul Rudd normally does, but it's not. It's a straight-up romantic comedy, but it's a romantic comedy that's maybe possibly an entree because of how good Tina Fey is and her unique skills as a character comic actress that can maybe revitalize the romantic comedy genre, which is something that really desperately needs to happen, given the absolute cultural dominance of calamity, drunken, barf, dude comedy. And Tina Fey struggled a long time because she came out of Saturday Night Live and did 30 Rock and kind of wrote herself into a little bit of a corner, because she's this incredibly talented woman that started out as a writer, then became a performer later, and then was writing her own life. And she wrote herself in as Liz Lemon into 30 Rock, but kind of marginalized her own kind of sexuality as this kind of goofball woman who is constantly in some kind of farce or other, which is really funny in 30 Rock, but there's a natural kind of limitation on the number of times that can be reprised, especially in a feature film. And what she's managed to do with Admission, by doing something that's interesting for romantic comedies, and that interesting thing is of the romantic comedies that favor female leads, that are from their point of view about their feelings and their aspirations, the trend forever has been to cast those women as the kind of victims of abusive relationships who strike out on their own, and they're usually waitresses. Except what Tina Fey's managed to do, because we know how smart she is and because of how good a performer she is, she's able to be an intelligent, well-paid, accomplished woman for whom a marriage or a child is not automatic, and it's not a hindrance. It's something to maybe go look for late in life, which is a really interesting, actually kind of relatively new position for romantic comedies. And that's what makes Admission so good. She's privileged, she's smart, she's accomplished, and the romantic comedy part comes from entering a romance from that direction rather than from kind of entering the ground up, like in a movie like Waitress, which starred Kerry Russell a couple of years ago, which is also a very good, though really traditional kind of semi-romantic comedy. So what should you watch instead? You should watch Admission, first of all, because it's fantastic. But if you want to get an idea of what I've been babbling about, or not that you don't already because you're smarter than I am, but a better way to illustrate my point, other than talking in a food court about it for 6 minutes, is maybe to go watch Martin Scorsese's romantic comedy from the mid-70s, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, which stars Ellen Burstyn as the kind of prototypical struggling, fleeing woman who's romantically, comedically bumbling her way through a man's world, trying to take what she can with a spirit of can-do kind of proto-feminism, although it wasn't exactly proto. It was just kind of semi-feminism. Take a look at that and then compare it to something like Tina Fey's doing in Admission. It's similar, but it's kind of the evolution and points maybe to where romantic comedies can go when there's talented, extremely strong female characters that can pull it off and have the can not only pull it off, but have the star power to have a movie made around their talent, which is something that happened with Tina Fey in Admission. So go watch Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore and get an early history of romantic comedy. Early being 1975.